guys, welcome back to Through the Screen. I'm Emily.
I'm Charlotte.
I'm Brittany.
We hope you've been enjoying our episodes so far and liking, commenting, and sharing with your friends. We would like to give a special thank you to everyone who's been supporting us this far, especially since we have officially reached our 10th episode. Yay! Thank you all for sticking with us through any audio or video issues, and we hope you've learned something new and will continue to join us each week. If you missed any of our episodes, be sure to head on over to our channel and watch, and if you're not already, go ahead and subscribe while you're there. This week, we will be discussing a major topic for animal lovers, so we hope you'll follow us once again as we join together via Skype to bring you conversations through the screen.
Even the best they can't say they've never lost. Hey, it isn't even a question. You can't change what's dead and gone. So grab the lighter, spark the flame, start the fire, watch it blaze. It isn't even a question when I say you're better off. Believe me that you're better off. You're better off.
This episode, we will be discussing a few of the industries that use animal testing for their products, an adorable story of Beagles finally getting their freedom, bringing you more Taiji updates, discussing a few test-free products we have at home, and of course, recapping this week's Dancing with the Stars. First up, animal testing.
So this week, we decided to tackle a huge topic for animal activists, which is animal testing. There are so many industries that use animals to test their products, including cosmetics, household products, medical products, tobacco products, food, and more. Millions of rodents, primates, rabbits, cats, dogs, and other animals are used to test these products every day in cold, isolated labs. And many of us are unaware of which of the products that we use are tested on animals. And many companies are really deceptive about whether or not their products are cruelty-free. So each of us is going to go into a little bit more depth about a few of these industries and how you can be informed so that you won't buy products that are tested on animals.
So for my aspect of animal testing, I chose the tobacco industry, and I was personally horrified by what I found. As somebody who used to smoke, I am disgusted by what this country does to animals. One of the quotes I found was, animal testing was used by politicians to avoid taking action against tobacco companies. That's something that most of us have seen in truth commercials or somewhere, in the media. Most notably, truth commercials are all over the place. They're very common, especially in shows that I watch. Anything that's relatively teen related or young adult related is focused in that area. And it's horrifying. They literally make these animals wear masks, or they pump it in through tubes, through enclosed chambers while they're stuck, and they literally force them to breathe it in for hours. I mean, if you think about it, when you sit there and you smoke a cigarette, you're not breathing in the smoke for hours. You're breathing it in for at the most 5 minutes, and you're done until you decide to smoke the next cigarette. And it all depends on, how you smoke your cigarettes. If you chain smoke, obviously, you're going to smoke another cigarette right away, and you're literally breathing it in like these animals are. But for the most part, that's not how people smoke. So from some of the things I read, they literally enclose them and make them wear these masks for sometimes up to 6 hours. I was disgusted by this, because we don't even do this to humans. Why are we doing this to animals? This is done to dogs, people. It's not just rats, it's not just mice, it's not just animals that we don't care about and that are critters and we consider vermin, and we don't really, because that's how people look at mice and rats. But this is dogs, this is cats, this is chickens, this is lambs, it's horrifying. So my simple suggestion to everybody is, obviously you're going to want to quit smoking eventually, because it's just better for you. It's better for your health. It's better for the environment. And you're not supporting these politicians. And, I mean, that's what it comes down to. For years, these politicians hid things like the fact that millions of people were dying from cigarettes because they were getting cancer from cigarettes just so that they could, keep getting money in their pockets from big tobacco companies. So, once again, we come back to the main driven factor in life. Everything comes down to greed and money, and this is clear greed. Everything about this screams greed. It's just horrifying and disgusting, and I seriously, I could only read half of the some of the articles I was reading online. I only got through one of the articles that I'm going to link down below because it's the one article I got through. But I am just disgusted with the human race right now. I really am. It's so gross.
I remember it was last year, the first time I ever saw. It was PETA had posted a picture online, and it's of Beagles, because Beagles are the dogs that are tested on everything because they're so forgiving and kind, and it was them in gas masks, and they're just inhaling the smoke, and it was the most heartbreaking thing. And I remember thinking, there is no way that this is true. There is no way. And the fact that it is, and it's happening every single day, is disturbing, and people don't even know. They don't even know. And I mean, some people probably know and don't care, but it's so disturbing. And something that I read had said that the government is the #1 funder of animal testing across the board. So regardless of what it's, what industry it's in, the government is funding a lot of it. And, that's disturbing to me, because that means my tax dollars and your tax dollars are going to fund these animals being tortured. There's a lot of places that are, working towards alternatives or less painful ways to test these animals. One of the ones I found was the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences, and they're looking for alternative test methods and, less strenuous on the animals, which is good. But I just really think that, with the technology that we have, why can we not find a way to do it without testing on anything? No rats, no rabbits, no dogs, no cats, no nothing, Just like schools across the whole United States, across the whole world, they are dissecting fetal pigs who, are immediately vacuum sealed in these plastic bags. They're dissecting cats and frogs and sharks, and just like all of these things. And it's just insane, because we could virtually do this, especially in schools. We could virtually do this. High school students do not need to know how to dissect a shark. I'm sorry, they don't. Or a rat or a frog or whatever else.
Honestly, I never did that in high school. I don't even think it was an option in my high school to do it, because we were so poor that they couldn't fund that stuff.
I know mine did cats. I didn't do it. I know mine did cats, and we did sharks. I dissected a shark when I was a sophomore.
I've never heard that. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
And we, what else did we do? We did a lot of stuff. I didn't always do all of them. We did a frog. We did a worm. So it's just crazy, and it's all over. And another thing that was really disturbing to me, as the United States, as supposed to be one of the world's powers, is only one of 2 countries that allows animal testing on chimpanzees. What is wrong with us that we are still doing this barbaric practice when it's banned everywhere else? That's just absolutely insane. It also says that 95% of animals used in experiments are not protected against the Federal Animal Welfare Act, which excludes birds, rats, mice, and cold-blooded animals such as reptiles and fish. So they're not even considered animals to the United States, apparently. Another really disturbing fact is the amount of animals that, like dogs and cats, that are tested in the United States. I found this disturbing, and I just think it will blow the mind of a lot of people. In total, every year, 21,578 cats are tested. 64,930 dogs are tested, which a majority of those being Beagles, which is why we have such a passion for the Beagle Freedom Project, who goes in and rescues these animals and are trying to get so many laws passed and changed to protect them or save them after the fact. 126 marine mammals are tested, which a lot of those are in Maine, which I found really interesting because I had never heard of that. I didn't think that any marine mammals were tested for products, so I thought that was just insane. 71,000 primates, 53,000 pigs, 38,000 cows, 210,000 rabbits, and 13,000 sheep, just to, name some of them. Those numbers are staggering. Over 1 million animals are used for testing products, medical things, household cleaners, which it's so insane to me that they need to take cleaners and, scald the eyes of these animals to know that they're not safe for our eyes. Don't put stuff in your eyes, people.
I know, really, it's just that basic and simple.
I mean, come on.
There's no need for us to be doing this stuff. We know it's the same thing with the tobacco industry. We already know that cigarettes cause cancer. We already know that cigarettes do all this stuff. Why are we still testing this stuff on animals? There's no point to it. Why? It makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, and
you're just covering your own asses at this point. Sorry for the language.
Right. Well, just like with the burned skin of the rabbits and stuff, because a lot of rabbits are tested for cosmetics industry. They're burning through the skin and whatever. There is better ways. There's better ways, and it's if you look at the pictures or videos, there's pictures, videos, anything imaginable. I just saw a huge thing from PETA about lambs that are being mistreated, and it's really disturbing, and I just think that people don't know.
Yeah, and speaking to, because you were talking about how, with our technology, there should be a better way to do this. As you were mentioning with rabbits and, the whole household cleaner things, one of the things that they do is drop a chemical into their eyes to test, how long it takes to burn their eyes. And there are solutions to that. They have a cornea-like 3D tissue structure that's basically made of donated human cells. So it's just it's not from a living being. Well, I mean, it is, but it's not,
it's after they're gone.
Right. So it's a tissue structure that they're able to test, these products on, and yet in the United States, we're still testing on animals every day.
It's so disturbing because there are just so many different ways to do it, and we should be compassionate. I mean, just like chimpanzees, they're 99% DNA, and so are rats. Rats' DNA is almost the same as ours too. And I know that people don't like them, and I know that they're creepy, and I don't want them in my house, but I don't, want them tortured.
I agree.
That's exactly why they test them, because they're so similar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And people don't care about rats, which, I mean, I understand that you don't want to cuddle up with them on the couch, but, why does that give us the right to torture them? They're literally being tortured. That's just disgusting. They're bred to be tortured.
Yeah. But yeah, there are so many countries where animal testing is banned, specifically cosmetics testing. In 2013, after protests, phone calls, and over 20,000 emails, the European Union banned the sale of cosmetics or cosmetics ingredients that have been tested on animals. Cosmetics testing has also been banned in Israel. In 2013, it was banned in India. In 2015, it was banned in New Zealand. Turkey banned animal testing on already introduced cosmetics, and the United Kingdom banned animal testing on cosmetics and their ingredients in 1998. And yet, here we are, United States.
We are still, we have nothing. We have nothing. And the things we do have are still allowing them to be tested on non-animals, like birds and reptiles and whatever. Come on, United States.
And I do have companies like we mentioned earlier when we were talking about how some companies come together and like Victoria's Secret, who goes over to China and then starts testing on animals because now they're in China and it's like a mandatory law.
Yeah, all foreign cosmetics in China have to be tested on animals. And that has made, I think we found out EOS, that's why they are now testing on animals. That's why Victoria's Secret is now testing on animals. And that's insane. China is legit the reason why they're now testing on animals. Well, don't sell in China then. Stick it to the Chinese government and tell them, look, you want our stuff here, we're not going to test it on animals. Obviously, it's safe we're using it. Americans are using it.
The problem is that it's cheaper to be made over in China, so that's why they're going over there to China, and that's why it's.
But it still doesn't make any sense, because just like Victoria's Secret, they have sold in the United States forever. We're all using their products. We're animals, so why in the heck do we need to test on other animals to make sure it's safe? It's obviously safe.
I read in a petition that I'm going to link down below, but they were talking about Victoria's Secret and how they're testing on animals, and they were saying that it's all about money. They see China as another market for sales.
Exactly.
Going back to the whole greed thing and everything like that, and in this petition they were saying that it might even make an example for them to refuse selling in China, to make China change their ways. They're just going about this the complete wrong way, all for a profit.
Yeah, and I mean, Victoria's Secret is not the only company doing this, as we already said, but it's like, why can't you step up, Victoria's Secret, and say, no, you want our products here? Because I'm sure that Chinese women want Victoria's Secret products there. They're very widely known all over. So it just, I don't know, it makes me sad for them, because I've always loved Victoria's Secret, and the fact that now that they're, caving because the Chinese government wants them to is just really sad.
Yeah, and so cosmetics is one of the major industries that utilize animal testing, and they use it for so many ridiculous things, like, skin sensitivity, skin irritation, eye irritation. They put this, they inject these products into the animal's skin, on their skin, in their eyes. And, for some animals, the toxicity tests, they cause diarrhea, convulsions, bleeding, seizures, death. It's horrible things that they do. And the surprising thing is that a lot of the big name cosmetics are tested on animals. So, for example, Maybelline New York is one of the largest ones. Chapstick also is another one. CoverGirl, Mary Kay, MAC, Avon, Revlon, Estee Lauder, Lancome, all of these big name brands that, flood the Walmarts, Targets, supermarkets. They're all tested on animals. And, it's hard these days to find products that aren't tested on animals, and that's a really sad thing, I think.
Yeah, what else I actually find funny is that if you notice, all the ones that are tested on animals are all advertised on TV as well. And none of the ones that are tested on animals are advertised on TV, because they don't need to be tested. They don't need to be advertised, because not only are they inexpensive, they're not tested on animals.
Right. Well, and that is a very, really, like, an amazing point, because that's so true. All of the cosmetics that we have found that are not tested on animals they're not advertised. They're not. We have, like, Unique, the New York Color, Wet n Wild, Elle for eyes, lips, what is it? Eyes, lips, what?
Eyes, lips, face.
They, none of them are tested on animals, and you never see commercials for those. That's really interesting. I wonder why that is. Specifically, like, why is that? Because obviously they've been around forever. They're, very well known. They don't even need advertisement. So obviously CoverGirl and Avon and Mary Kay are doing something wrong, because there's no need for it. There's absolutely no need for them to be tested on animals. And I think it just, I don't know, it's just a testament to the greed of American people, because the government's funding it, which I find absurd. Like, why does the government need to be funding this? It makes no sense. There's no reason for it. This is 2015. There is no reason why we're still doing this. A lot of household products, which I think is something I didn't really realize, are also tested on animals, which they're also the big name ones, like Johnson & Johnson, which has, like, baby shampoos, and they are, like, Clorox, and all your basic cleaners, Downy, Tide, all of these things, they're all tested on animals, which is stupid. Because I don't need a product to be tested on animals. No, I don't, need to put cleaner in my eyes.
Well, I will bring this up. I will say that probably the one major cleaner that everybody knows that's tested on animals and actually helps save animals' lives is Dawn.
Which is really absurd. You're testing on animals, and then you're saving them, like you're trying to make up for it. Don't test on them.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Is Dawn tested on animals?
Mm-hmm. I think it's a Procter & Gamble product, so yeah.
But I mean, it is. I do think that at least it shows some benefit to it. I mean, at least that way, if there's natural disaster, like it's not even a natural disaster because really it's our fault,
right?
An oil spill or something.
A human disaster. That's what it is.
Exactly, a human disaster like an oil spill, where people like environmentalists can go in and help save animals' lives with Dawn. I think that at least that is something that is notable and should be brought up. Again, should the product be tested on animals to begin with? No, probably not.
Definitely not. Because just think about it, though.
Well, I mean, if the product,
we already know it's not going to do anything. I mean,
as long as the product isn't harmful, and obviously Dawn is a product that's not harmful to the animals. Because why would they use it to save the animals' lives after it's an oil spill?
Yeah, but
it's just to kill the animal in the end.
Yeah, but I bet you anything, what they're doing is they're putting it in their eyes. You know what I mean?
The reason they use it is because they find from the test that it's not harmful on them.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I'm saying, though. Like, they probably put so much dish soap in their eye to see how long it takes for them to get irritated. You know? Like, that's the kind of things they do when they're animal testing, which is stupid, because don't put it in your eyes.
That whole part is stupid, but the simple fact of being able to save the animal's life after something like a human disaster like that, I think is cool.
I agree,
to test it on them,
put
it in their eyes, to put it in their mouth, to do anything like that is disgusting. I agree.
Yeah, like, I mean, I totally am with you. I think it's great that when there's an oil spill that we know that you can go use Dawn dish soap and get it off. But two wrongs don't make a right. Stop testing on animals. Stop saying that, hey, we're here to save animals when you know that in your dark, secret room back there, you're squirting it in their eyes.
Yeah.
Just saying. But we'll link it down below, but PETA has a list of everything. They really do. They have a list of cosmetics and cleaners and, I mean, just anything and everything that you can think of, and whether or not they're tested on animals, and safe, things that are safe to use and, are, not harming animals when you're trying to save them. Because I think that a lot of, like, even vegan and vegetarian people don't realize that even though they're not eating them, they're still hurting them if they're using these products. So make sure you guys check those out.
So this week for our Taiji updates, we're hoping for all Blue Cove days, but from the 2nd to the 7th, that's what we had. We had all Blue Cove days, but unfortunately today, being the 8th, we broke a 15-day Blue Cove streak with the netting of about 20 or so dolphins. So again, we ask that you take the time to look into Sea Shepherd and learn for yourself what they do on the front lines during a Red Cove Day, as well as check out Cove Guardian's link to witness the live streams for yourself, which we will link down below.
This week's heartwarming story is about 38 beagles who were rescued from 5 different laboratories across the entire United States this summer. All of the beagles have been born and raised in labs and were purpose-bred for research. The Beagle Freedom Project said that this was the largest U.S. beagle rescue to date. All the beagles were saved and will learn to trust over time, but most of them suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. But we are going to link the video below. It's super cute. You get to see all of these dogs play and touch grass for the first time, get toys for the first time, interact with each other for the first time. It's really heartwarming. It's sad that this is even happening and they have to be rescued, and obviously we're pushing so hard to try to put an end to all of this, but to see these dogs being rescued thanks to the amazing work at the Beagle Freedom Project, it's just really heartwarming, and it's so adorable to watch.
Yeah, and we will also link the Beagle Freedom Project, their website and the things that they do down below as well. So, as you all know, we like to bring you guys products that you can try at home that are not tested on animals. And lately we've been doing a lot of homemade beauty products, but we haven't done any makeup products yet. So this week, since our topic is animal testing, we wanted to share some of our favorite makeup brands and products, the majority of which are actually really cheap. that are cruelty-free and that we just love. So what do you guys have?
Well, I use a variety of non-tested on animal products. I have gotten rid of everything that I used to use, so everything is not tested on animals. But my favorite brand, which is one of the more higher end brands and a little bit more expensive than the ones at the drugstore, is Unique. My favorite thing by them is their mascara. And it's like 2-ply, and it makes your lashes really, really long, and you can like layer it up and make it like a day or evening as you like. And everything by Unique is not tested on animals. I also have their BB cream, which I absolutely love. Eyeliner. They just came out with bronzers and eyeshadows, and it's just a really good brand, and everything is completely cruelty-free.
I actually just recently went through all my makeup to find out like what exactly I have that's not tested on animals and what I have that is and isn't. So, I mean, for the most part, I was actually surprised by the amount of makeup I actually have that's not, because for the most part, I thought, you use the brand name products, and a lot of the brand name products are. But one of the ones I have that's, again, higher end, it's more towards the expensive side, is Physicians Formula. And I love this blush because it smells like heaven. Like, I'm not even kidding. You see, there's a little shoe inside, and for some reason, they make that little shoe smell like heaven. So, if you ever want, like, a nice blush that is, again, it's a little expensive, but it's well worth it. It lasts a long time. Like, I've had this for almost a year, I think, and as you can see, the shoe inside is still there, so I highly recommend it. Again, like I said, it's a little more on the expensive side, but we will be showing you some more cheaper ones as well. One of the cheaper ones that I have that I will mention is New York City. Most of you guys know it. It's all over the, CVS or any type of drugstore that you go into that might, have makeup in it. New York City. It's cheap, it's relatively, common, and it's not tested on animals.
Yeah, I get my, I have some of the New York City stuff. I actually have their BB cream primer that I use every single day, and I love it, and I'm pretty sure this cost me like $2, so
yeah, this,
super cheap, and it works. Yeah, like it's just super cheap, and it's a good brand, and I bought that at Walmart, so.
Yeah, so my absolute favorite brand ever, originally because it was really cheap, but now I love it even more after I found out it wasn't tested on animals, is Eyes, Lips, Face, or as I call it, ELF. And it's super cheap, and I have so many of their products. So something that I use basically every day is their Flawless Finish Foundation. This actually was a little bit more expensive, I would say. It was $6. But the one that I usually get is a little bit taller, and it's only $3. But like, it doesn't make my face feel heavy. It's really light. I just love it. And I love their brushes. This one is like a little eyeshadow brush. This was $1. And this one that I just swear by, I use it for like my blush and contouring and everything. This was $2. And then I also have a couple of these really big palettes. These eyeshadow palettes, so I have this like bright color one that I use a lot, as you can tell, and then I have one that's even bigger than this that has a lot of like neutral brown colors, and for the amount of eyeshadow you get, I would say it's pretty cheap. I think the smaller ones like 10 or 15 maybe.
I know like Christmas time, like
Christmas time, yeah.
I see them like in those packages, you know what I mean? And they have like 3 different ones, and it's like 3 for $20. And it's like,
it's so crazy because you can, just the little ones are bought. But I have this from ELF that is just, which I use it all the time, obviously. And I'm pretty sure this cost me $1, and this cost me $2, and it's my favorite thing ever. But it is a concealer that I use under my eyes. And it, like, when I have bags under my eyes, when I'm not sleeping all the time, it's, like, seriously magic. And I love it so much. And I use it, which I mix it with, because this is white, obviously, and then, like, I layer a concealer and powder over it. But I seriously, like, am in love with it. And my eyebrow thing that I use is also ELF. And I have this, like, which is just brown palettes, which this was $2. And it has 6 different ones, which obviously I use all the time.
Yeah, I have an eyeshadow. I have several eyeshadows that are ELF, but this is the one I pulled out. because I use this one.
And they last a while too.
Oh, yeah.
And to be that cheap, I mean, I love their stuff. Like, it's cheap, and I feel like it's good quality too.
Yeah, I think it's great quality. And the other really inexpensive one that we all have products from is Wet n Wild. I have a contour kit that I use from Wet n Wild, which this cost me less than $3. And I use a concealer from them. My eyeliner is Wet n Wild, which I'm pretty sure was like $1. And none of it is tested on animals. It all works. It all lasts all day. I mean, this is what we're all three using like all day, every day. And sometimes without like, when we were first purchasing it, we didn't even know. It was just inexpensive and the easiest thing. And so it's really not that hard to find stuff not tested on animals, especially here in the United States. I know it's harder other places, especially China. I know that China, I'm pretty sure it's impossible because it's like a federal law. But just try out some of the products and let us know. And if you have something that you want that's not tested on animals, like ask us, and we could tell you if we've tried it. And if we hadn't tried it, then we'll try it for you. We'll go spend the money and try it for you, and then let you know. As long as it's not like $500 foundation, because I'm not doing that.
Give a limit.
But please let us know, and we'll link some of this stuff below because you can buy some of it off of Amazon or whatever. But you can also find it at Walmart.
This week's episode of Dancing with the Stars was all about the contemporary routines. Bindi, Tamar, and Hayes all performed contemporary routines this week, and each was so special in their own unique way. Tamar and Val's was a beautiful story of overcoming the odds to survive. As shared in her emotional package, her year was 2012 because she almost lost her husband to several blood clots. She took the emotional stress and fear of not knowing if the man you loved would survive and portrayed it in every movement of the dance. It was one of the many dances this week that brought me to tears. Last week we were a little hard on Hayes' routine because he was wearing that costume and I felt like it really hindered his movements. But this week his contemporary dance to Stitches by Shawn Mendes blew my mind. It blew me away. His inspirational year was 2014 because it was when his whole life changed. And as many of you guys know, we were at a convention in Nashville last year. And two Vine boys, as we knew them, we didn't know their names at the time, but we knew them as two Vine boys. They were there, and they were like the hit of the convention. Like, all these little girls were going crazy for them, and we were like, who are these little boys? Like, we had no idea. And now it's just like funny how a year later we're sitting here still talking about them, but yet we're talking about him in a good way and judging him on the show. I guess it's kind of funny in that way. Mm-hmm. But, his dance was really beautiful, and it was intricate. He, again, portrayed, movement and how, like, your life evolves and changes with, each passing year, and how 1 year can completely, like, he went from being unknown to not being able to go anywhere. And he's 15, 14 years old, so that's kind of, like, to have that happen at such a young age is kind of hard to deal with.
I'm sorry, but I just have to say, I don't know how I could ever go anywhere because his eyes are like the most piercing eyes I've ever seen in my life. Like, I'm sure he could never go anywhere before.
Bindi's package was heartbreaking. It was just really emotional. Everybody pretty much knows because it's been all over the media and the news that her dance was dedicated to her dad this week. It was all about him, and so that made her inspirational year 2006, which was the year he passed away. And it was just it was executed flawlessly. Like, there was seriously nothing wrong with her routine. It portrayed every aspect of dance you could possibly hope for. Brought emotion. She didn't mess up. She hit every move. She was, sharp, clean, crisp, everything. So she actually earned the first 10 of the season, so that was kind of cool, too. Andy's package also brought me to tears this week. Although he didn't dance contemporary, I'm actually not sure what he did dance, but it was his inspirational year was 2009, and that was the year that his mom was diagnosed with breast cancer and passed away. Just his emotion when talking about his mom is just really raw and real, and it was portrayed in his package a lot. And then you had this beautiful dance where it was uplifting and joyful, and it didn't make you cry, it made you smile and happy. And he was showing like just how good it is and how proud he was to be alive and to feel and to try and move on from that hard experience of losing his mom. So I liked that. I liked his dance a lot. Alex Paso Doble was it was good, but again, he had a lot of stuff happen last week that naturally kind of took him away from the dance. He tried to put it back into the movement of the dance, but the Paso is it's such a hard, crisp, clean dance that if you don't have that posture and frame, which was something that Bruno brought up in his comments, was he didn't have the Paso posture and the Paso frame, so he was hunched over, which brought down the movement of the dance, and it brought down because he's in the Paso, he's the man, so he's supposed to be hard and trying to you know what I mean, it's just such a hard dance to do, and mean and crisp and fierce, and he just didn't really have that kind of portrayal as much this week. Obviously, the dance of the night was Nick's, because as a 90s girl, we all were he's dancing to everybody, and it's going to be awesome, and it was awesome. And it was jazz, so it made me even more happy, so I was like, yes, this is awesome, I'm so excited.
I personally don't throw things at me. I personally was not very impressed with Nick's dance. Maybe it's just a personal thing, but I found it overly sexual. I don't know, I just wasn't that impressed with it. I didn't see that many moves. I know he was drawing a lot from the Backstreet Boys kind of era and stuff. I don't know, I just wasn't super impressed with it. I think Bindi was my favorite. It was amazing, her dance. And I got choked up at the end when she started just crying in Derek's arms. Tamar was also really, really good. Also, Carlos was really good. And he did also I got a little choked up with his as well when he was talking about meeting his wife through church and how that kind of saved his life because he was down a darker path. So those were some of my favorites. I don't know, I loved Nick's. I loved it, and I know that it was totally because it was Backstreet Boys dance, and he even had the Backstreet Boys moves, and I loved their outfits, and it was really good. My absolute favorite of the night was Tamar. I loved it. I thought that she deserved the 10. I thought that she, it was just so, her dance was flawless, I thought it was flawless. I thought she did an amazing job. Bindi's I liked. I still think Tamar's was better, but I liked, and obviously was so emotional over her, the whole story of it. And I mean, I know it's one we've heard before, but just seeing her raw emotion was really emotional. And I also was really emotional with Carlos. I was really impressed with his dance, and his story was just, I thought was just, so emotional. And I know this was one of my favorite weeks. I thought it was a really great week. I was really satisfied with Gary going home. I mean, I understand that, his story was also really good, but when it comes down to it, it's about the dance, and he just obviously was not dancer material. So, who do we think is going to go home next week?
I would probably say Paula, because she seems to be the weakest out of everybody that's left. But again, I've seen instances where that's not always the case. Sometimes that person doesn't end up going home. They end up having a good week and redeeming themselves, and somebody else might mess up and, just really flub something, and they get it sent home instead. So I've seen that happen. So you never really know, but if I had to guess, I'd say Paula.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I think Paula this week was kind of, although I did love her story. I did not know that either. I didn't know that she got divorced and then started her business, and now look where she is. Like, that was really exciting.
Great. No, I was really by that story. And actually, next week switch up, so that's
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited to see that because it's always interesting to see who gets paired with who and how they interact with a different person for a week.
I agree. So just tune in next week, and we'll tell you what's going on Dancing with the Stars. So this week, our song of the week is Fire Meet Gasoline by Sia. We picked this song mostly because Sia is a big supporter of the Beagle Freedom Project, which we absolutely love. She's also a big supporter of all kinds of different things, and she also, like our the Veronicas, is from Australia. So we love our Aussies, and our Aussies love animals. So what did you guys think of this week's song?
Well, for me, I personally love Sia. I downloaded this album right after I heard Chandelier, which was one of the first singles off the album. And, I just immediately gravitated to most of the songs on the album. There's certain ones that I obviously connected to right away, and then there's others that grew on me. This song happened to be one of the ones that grew on me after a while. It's a really meaningful song. If you listen to the lyrics, it has a story, and it's just it's relatable and it touches people's hearts, and that's what's important with music. So I like it.
Yeah. I really liked it. I also really love Sia and a lot of her songs. I also really like her message. If you'll notice, if you watch her videos, she has a dancer named Maddie Ziegler portray her in her videos because she never performs using her own face. Even when she does live performances, she doesn't show her face. She turns around. And that part of that is to kind of, even though people kind of know what she looks like, she wants to kind of keep that anonymity and, keep her own life. But also she wants people to focus on her music rather than her looks.
Exactly.
And I really like that. Yeah, I think that's really powerful. So I'm a big supporter of Sia, and especially, knowing that she supports the Beagle Freedom Project, and I really like this song too.
Yeah, I also really like the song. The first time I heard it was Charlotte played it for us the other night, and I absolutely loved it. It's one of the ones that I had never heard, and now it's one that is on my playlist. So we really recommend you watching the video, which we'll link down below, and checking out Sia because she also is, what we're for and supports Beagle Freedom Project. So check her out and let us know what you think.
And you guys will like the video because Heidi Klum stars in it.
So since we talked about animal testing this week, we wanted to encourage you all to look out for animal testing and research petitions. There are countless petitions and bills for you guys to sign, so we will link a few down below. One of them is the Beagle Freedom Bill, which actually was just recently passed in California, but it has been shot down in a lot of other states. And what it is something that kind of focuses on aftercare for recently released test animals. So we will have that down below to sign, as well as a petition that urges Victoria's Secret to stop testing on animals in order to sell to China. So be sure to check those out down below, and always be on the lookout for more petitions, because ending something like this starts with you guys.
Okay, guys, that's our show. We hope you enjoyed this installment of Through the Screen. If you did, be sure to like down below and also subscribe to our channel. We also appreciate any feedback you may have. We post new videos each week, and we'd love for you to join us and tell your friends. Next week, we will be discussing an extremely heartbreaking but important topic, especially recently, the growing trend of mass shootings. We will be giving our opinions on the different aspects of the discussion, so you don't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, stay informed, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.